Public Figures. Here we are again on the Nate Bargatze network, of course. We made that joke before, so I thought I'd make it again.
It was a good one.
Thank you very much. Our faithful listeners will probably remember that we were going to talk about Saint Jack, the 1979 Ben Gazzara film. 79, 80, maybe? Can't remember. But we kind of just lost interest. Well, no, I lost interest in talking about that. So we're doing something different today. Still a good film. I like it myself. Overall, would you say that you like that film?
It's okay.
Do you think it's better than
Chinese Bookie?
It's not better than do you think it's better than Chinese Bookie?
No way.
You think it's better than Husbands?
No.
Really? I find a lot of that stuff to be kind of boring. But I do prefer Chinese Bookie myself. I think it's just a more fun film, and it's got some really great performances in it.
I think overall I like Cassavetes. I think I initially go in and think oh, this sounds boring. But then I wind up being kind of swept up into it. I think Husbands is particularly great. I also, I haven't seen Chinese Bookie in a long time, but I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's exciting too. That's the thing that Saint Jack kind of meanders. I mean, and to say that it meanders more than a Cassavetes film. I mean, we're talking about a lot of meandering.
It's kind of hard to really get a handle on what the angle of the movie is, because it's not a lot happens, and he's fairly ineffectual. He just kind of goes along with whatever's happening. There's all these moments where you think oh, okay, here he goes. He's going to do something.
Right.
He doesn't really do anything.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I think that okay, so we are going to just do a little very sort of brief review of Saint Jack now. I was thinking about that, and the movie really is told in vignettes. It's almost like an anthology, because it starts out and it's it's the introduction of that guy, the British guy who's sort of the accountant, and then there's the trouble with the triad.
The guy from Trading Spaces, the butler from Trading Spaces.
is that?
I mean, Trading Places with Eddie Murphy.
The English guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's also the guy in Indiana Jones who got lost in his own museum.
Oh, right. Yeah,
The pen is mightier than the sword. And then there's sort of the thing with that Sri Lankan woman. And then there's also then of course it caps off at the end. And then there's the sort of the relation, the starting work with the new brothel and those Vietnam guys who come in and cause trouble. And then there's also, and then finally it concludes with Bogdanovich himself offering him a job to frame a governor or something.
James Bond.
Was it Timothy Dalton?
No, it was George Lazenby, who was he played James Bond once.
Oh, okay.
I think he was between Sean Connery and
Roger
Moore. He did one.
Interesting. So it's been described as a hangout movie by some people. I think that's appropriate. It's kind of just and I mean, I have a soft spot for it because it's about kind of a wheeling and dealing expat, and I'm kind of a wheeling and dealing expat. Mm-hmm. So I feel Singapore is easy as hell, by the way. You don't even have to learn Chinese. And they say that in the movie. I think it's Bogdanovich himself who says, you have all the mystery and exoticism of Asia, but all the comforts of home, And it's just that's pretty much Singapore for you. Singapore's dollar is almost as strong as the US's dollar. Talk about doing something right. Mm. The only thing you have to sacrifice is just your freedom,
Well, remember when there was a whole controversy where they were going to
cane that kid? Yeah.
And everybody over here was good.
Yeah. No,
cane that motherfucker.
Yeah. But it's I mean, that opens up a whole can of worms. It really reveals kind of how different people in different parts of the world want different things out of life. And you kind of, Singaporeans just want, and I think it's the same with the Taiwanese. Like they just want security. They just want
Sure.
to like know that things are chill and that they can prosper and they have a reasonable amount of freedom.
Right.
Unlike Americans who would just want to be able to literally do anything, but all they do is just watch Netflix and stuff their faces full of fucking genetically modified poison all day. Anyways,
That's what I do.
yeah, I know. So let's and maybe jerk off and complain on the
jerk off
internet.
to Poison.
Right. To the
And go on
band.
Discord.
What's the
And
name
get
of
radicalized on Discord?
what's the name of the guy, the lead singer of Poison, the band? Bret Michaels?
Brett Michaels.
Yeah. He's a big Trump supporter, that guy.
Not enough. I think he backed out of the Trump 250 America hoedown. He was like one of those bands that backed out.
Well, you know what they say.
Along with Young MC.
Oh no.
I think all they have left is Vanilla Ice and Milli Vanilli.
Damn. That's quite the lineup.
It's quite a show. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be there.
Oh, really?
No, I wish.
Why didn't you fucking go along with that? Shit, I was teeing
I
up
had
for
nothing else to say about. What else do you want me to say about?
I don't know. Just we work it out. We workshop it.
Okay.
Anyways, you know what they say.
I didn't know you were ready for workshopping.
No, dude, I'm fucking ready,
This-
willing, and able.
Is this like the Groundlings?
Right, exactly. Second city up in here. Second shitty. Yeah, I was going to say that every rose has its thorn.
Right. Just
But-
like St. Jack.
Right. So St. Jack back. Yeah, that's great. Now we're talking. See, that's a great segue. What we can say is that we thought that St. Jack was a little bit sleepy, but like I thought it was pretty interesting. Maybe I liked it a bit more. I give St. Jack like, a good 3.5. I recommend it myself. What would you give St. Jack?
Yeah, I don't know if I could recommend it unless like you're, you want to be a Bogdanovich completist. You want to see all the Bogdanovich films, or if you're a Ben Gazzara, you want to see all the, Ben Gazzara films.
It's more of a Ben Gazzara thing, I think.
So, it's sort of an oddity. It's interesting in that respect, but I don't know if I'd recommend it other than that. Like I said, it's interesting, but in that light, but I think that on its own, it's not a lot happens. There's moments where you think something's going to happen, like when the
Triad.
there's a cool scene when he's like setting, like after they destroy his whorehouse, he has to build he makes another whorehouse in like, I don't know, some kind of army barracks or something, or like near army barracks, and one of the soldiers like beats the shit out of one of his girls,
Right.
and he like steps in, and you think he's gonna like confront the guy who just beat up one of his women, and he kind of just like gives him a stern look and then walks out of the room. And I think that's sort of like indicative of the entire movie. Like he doesn't do anything. He just kind of, things happen and he just kind of goes with the flow. And
I hate to sort of hit you with that's the point, but I think that literally is the point.
But yeah, okay, that's the point. But that point it's not as much fun as if you actually do stuff.
But listen, like if that actually, yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. I mean, we could make this sort of
like let's take for example, like when he gets kidnapped by the his rival whorehouse gang, and they kidnap him, and like what do they do to him? Well, they tattoo a bunch of nasty
swear words
in Chinese on his arms, and then let him go. It's just kind of like, I don't know whether is this supposed to be funny or is this supposed to be scary? Like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to think about this. It seems kind of silly.
No,
but that's not silly enough to make me laugh.
No, you don't understand. Like, that's very realistic. Like I know people who have run afoul of Chinese gangsters here in Taiwan, and I mean, it's entirely like they're not gonna fucking kill anyone or like torture anyone unless it's like a serious other gang guy. You know what I mean? Like you kind of like if for someone like Jack, it's kind of like they wouldn't, for them to do that much is a pretty big move. Like to disfigure him like that. Hold on a second. Let me tell you what happened. Like I've heard stories of like people being kidnapped and then like put into like a dog cage for like a week and then like and stripped naked and like shit on.
That would have been better.
Yeah. And then like, and then pictures taken and then,
that's good.
And then it's all about humiliating you. Like it's just about kind of like, this guy just doesn't have it. And that's kind of what they're doing, you know, marking him up, you know, just making him look a fool. Like that seems absolutely appropriate. And I mean, you know, the typical Johnny Ryan response, well, I don't care if it's realistic. I care about if it's fun to watch. But it's like, you know, like in the same way that when we watch like a crime movie, we kind of want it to be authentic. I'm interested in just sort of seeing something that isn't someone's Americanized view of what happens in Singapore. You know, like, oh, you know, they're eating fucking monkey brains or whatever. Remember how they characterized India in Temple of Doom and stuff? It's like, well, that's interesting, you know, but it's like, I don't know. I think that there's room for a well-considered, well-researched what's life like in Singapore in the late 70s. What's this guy's life like? You know,
no, I don't have a problem with that. You know, with some kind of realism, but you're still writing a story, and you still have to like what is the story here? I'm not really sure what Saint Jack wants. He's kind of, and he doesn't even seem to know what he wants. He's just kind of floundering around, and he's hanging out with the whorehouse accountant and drinking with some British expatriates, and you know, he's kind of hanging. You know, maybe he's fucking some of the whores, the Indian one in particular. He's got, but like everything kind of like doesn't really lead to anything. Like, you know, he's got the romance. He's got some kind of romance with the Indian woman, but that doesn't really add up to much. And then he's got this relationship with the accountant, and he's just kind of like a drunk, and that doesn't really mean it. He winds up dying, but even that is just kind of like, okay, well, you knew this guy for like 2 days, so who cares? And then, you know, he's got the whorehouse going, and it gets destroyed, and then he builds it up again, and then he doesn't even really seem that much invested in it, because then when Bogdanovich is kind of like, I'll give you $10,000 to take pictures of this George Lazenby fucking a kid, and he's like, all right, I'll do it, and then after he does it, he's like, yeah, because it seems like he's like trying to get that money to leave Singapore, but then he winds up staying, so he's not all that compelling, or he doesn't have a lot of drive. I
think for you to say that he's not compelling is absolutely untrue. He's totally compelling. I can't help but watch him the whole fucking time. Are you serious?
He's charming, but he's not like, I think he's more like, you know, if we're just talking about Ben Gazzara, I think he's more compelling in, say, you know, Husbands or Happiness or
yeah, sure,
or Roadhouse even, but
sure,
like
Happiness. I love him in Happiness,
or even Chinese Bookie. But here,
sure,
he's just kind of coasting along, and and I'm not saying I hated the movie. I'm just saying, you know, like you said, it's a hangout movie. It's very chill. Nothing really happens, and he just kind of. It's a very zen, I guess, movie where he just kind of like lets things happen, and if they go south, then he just rides it out and on to the next thing. But that doesn't. The movie isn't compelling. I mean, it's just not that type of movie. And I mean, if you like that type of a movie, then you'll love this movie.
I usually don't like those types of movies, but I like this one. I'm changing my vote. I'm changing it. This is a 4 for me. I think this is a 4.
Damn.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like 2.5 eggplants. It's okay. And it, like I said, it's interesting. I do like Bogdanovich, and I do like Ben Gazzara, and I like seeing those guys. But
It is interesting too. Sorry to cut you off, but it is interesting too that it's a Playboy magazine production and that it's a Roger Corman film, like one of the
Right.
early New World releases.
It's also interesting that it's a Playboy production, but there's no.
Like it's not porn.
I don't really remember much nudity in it at all.
Yeah, I mean there is a little bit, and you see a fucking a transsexual. You see like someone with a little fucking penis poking out of her fucking pubic bush.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, that must be pretty controversial. So that's funny because that kind of dovetails into like the film that we'll be talking about later on, which is
The Quick and the Dead.
no Lifeguard.
Lifeguard.
Because that one is like, that seems more like the kind of film that like Playboy would do, like if they were doing like a serious film, because it's like there's like a lot of like ribaldry in it, you know, like there's a lot of like sort of fun sex stuff, but
Right.
but it really is more just about kind of sort of a guy going through the beginnings of a midlife crisis or whatever.
Yeah, it's not it. You think you're going to be getting like, and you even like look at the posters and shit, and it looks like one of them teen sex comedies.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. It has a lot more depth to it than you. Than you're expecting.
Yeah, that movie was actually the breakout for Sam Elliott. This is the Sam Elliott episode, everyone. That's what we're going to call it.
It's weird too because you don't like, you know, if you said like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie Lifeguard. Oh, who's in it? Sam Elliott. You're like, huh? He doesn't. He's like, you don't think of Sam Elliott as being like Malibu Beach,
right?
Beefcake.
Right. Well, I mean, he's got a really like funny, almost like a Charlton Heston build, you know, like he's kind of got that sort of old, like the physique of like of an older era.
Right.
Sam Elliott,
like a 60s strong guy.
No, the 60s strong guy is like more stout and squat, like George the Animal.
Well, that's what I think about. Like when you say Charlton Heston, I think of him as like 60s strong guy.
I think of him as just like a fairly healthy older man, you know, like seeing him in Planet of the Apes, where he's basically nude the whole time.
Yeah, but, so that's like Planet of the Apes is like what, 68? 67, 68? So that's 60s.
Yeah, I'm arguing with you about the strong part of it, not the 60s part of it.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I actually wanted to start because I think that like Lifeguard is like obviously the better film, but like so let's start with The Quick and the Dead because I just kind of stumbled across that film and I was like, I know this isn't great, but I kind of like it, and I like Sam Elliott in it, and for some reason it's just so simple that like that I admire it for some, like I admire the writing, like it's one of those things that I just think the writing is just so simple. And
you're a Louis L'Amour fan?
I don't even know who that is.
He's like one of those guys that wrote like 1,000 paperback novels about like, you know, Western stories, like pulp novels that like your dad or your grandpa, you know, they would eat those up like candy.
What's some other stuff that he wrote? Like Two Mules for Sister Sarah?
I can't think of any titles, but he was just sort of like a, you know, in the same way that Edgar Rice Burroughs was just like cranking out Tarzans. Mm. He was like cranking out cowboy books. Mm. That's all he did his whole life. Bibliography.
Oh damn, he's got just out of control bibliography. Okay, well, anyways, this movie, The Quick and the Dead, not to be confused for the 1995 Sam Raimi movie starring Russell Crowe, and
I don't think I've ever made it through that one.
Yeah, it's like I always think of that one like on TV on like the afternoon on Sunday, and it's always like kind of tiresome. I've watched it through a couple times, and it's not very good. I mean, between the two films called The Quick and the Dead, I prefer this one, but
I'm not a
Anyways,
fan of Sharon Stone. Just the idea of her being the hero of
she's
a
not.
cowboy.
She's not
movie.
though. She's not. It's Russell Crowe who's the hero of that
All
movie.
right. Well, maybe then I'll watch it. I like him.
Sharon Stone is.
If it's like Romper Stomper 2 in the Old West, I'd see it.
Yeah, he's shooting gooks.
Laying the railroad.
Right. So there's this guy named Robert Day, and he's like the director of this Quick and the Dead movie, which by the way is an HBO made for TV movie. So
from what, like 87 or something?
Yeah, 87 on the dot actually. And he's actually, you mentioned Tarzan earlier. He did quite a few 60s Tarzan films, and
Nice.
I'm trying to look at, and actually like the Quick and the Dead looks like one of the films like later in his career.
Okay.
I'm not really recognizing a lot of these films that I see on his bibliography, but I mean the film I think is very competently directed. It's like it made me kind of think too, kind of like, what boxes do you have to tick when you make a Western? I mean, I just got done sort of making what, ostensibly is a Western, kind of a modern sort of what do you call it?
Postpartum Western.
Postpartum depressive Western called Crossed. And I was just kind of thinking like, what,
It's
cause
about
like,
cross dressers.
it's about cross dressers.
In the Old West.
In the Old West, fucking in the madam's back room. But like, what boxes need to be ticked for a Western? Like, how come something like Hell or High Water or No Country for Old Men can be considered a Western? Is it just about like sort of taking the law into your own hands, like sort of assertively doing something like yourself instead of relying on like the government, like going into hostile, lawless territory, lawlessness, kind of doing something that happens in the context of lawlessness. That, and then also, there's also sort of like a
lawless frontier.
Yeah. And then there's also sort of this to sort of maybe, reinforce or, bolster that idea of like frontier. There's also a real preoccupation with like the environment, like showing landscape and sort of this Americana kind of Americana via landscapes, I think is sort of a big thing too, like in terms of the photography.
And then I also think like certain tropes that are, that were they sort of like grew out of Westerns and then just sort of became, they filtered out into other films. Like Death Wish has a really strong Western vibe to it.
Right.
But, it's set in New York City in the 70s, but this sort of like whole, like, guy out there shooting, shooting thugs in the name of justice and the detective being like, I want you out of town by sundown. Like those types of tropes, I think also can add to
like
being a Western.
Yeah, like the sheriff or like the mayor of the town kind of trying to maintain order, but in doing so going against like the hero, like
right,
like there's conflict between authority and sort of and what's right, like what's like what we know in our hearts to be justice.
Right. And then like siege movies, like like Assault on Precinct 13,
right?
Those kind of all were born out of Westerns.
Yeah, but more to the point, the Quick and the Dead, the Sam Elliott Quick and the Dead. The plot of this movie is super neat and tidy. Again, the compliment. A group of like a family from, I guess, like Pennsylvania is traveling across the country, and they are going through Wyoming territory around like whatever, like 1870s, and they end up crossing the paths of, or rather just like crossing into sort of like a little shitty town full of old drunks that are essentially low men, as they would call them, just sort of like older kind of, you know, bad guys, but they're not super threatening. Like they're just kind of like drunks who are kind of like just bad, lazy, unscrupulous people. And these settlers, these pilgrims, when they come through, they got 4 mules and 2 horses and this carriage full of like old antiques and shit, and which is basically just their house, like their belongings, pots and pans and crap. Anyways, so like they're driving along, and then they run into like these bad guys, and the bad guys are like nice to them at first, and then the pilgrims go and they camp, and next thing you know, 2 of their horses have been stolen by these guys in the night. They didn't fuck with them up. They didn't fuck with the pilgrims at all. They just took their horses, and they're just kind of like, you know, what are you going to do about it? Now there's that's happening, but then there's also sort of this other thing too. Like the first thing that we really see in this movie is this Indian played by Patrick Kilpatrick, who you'll know from like Scanner Cop, and like he's in this movie called The Cellar. Like the star of that movie is this awful movie, but he plays a fucking, I guess, like a half Native American guy, but he looks just like John Cena in a black wig, and it's actually hilarious that like it's just this man in brown face or red face, I guess, and Sam Elliott is sort of on this guy's tail, and the Indian, we'll just call him the Indian from now on. The Indian ends up like meeting up
Half-breed.
with the half-breed. Well, they're both half-breeds. I guess like Sam Elliott later says like, my mother was a squaw, you know, like it's like, well, you're sure
where's your black wig?
Yeah, exactly.
Sam Elliott.
Well, I wouldn't want to mess up my hair. But what happens is the Indian joins sort of like the bad gang, and kind of like equips them with a valuable tool of a tracker that can help them later on when they go after this family. But
now, don't they say? Isn't there some information at the beginning that half-breed Indian with the wig is like he killed somebody in Sam Elliott's family or something?
Yeah, there's
like
something.
He burned down some Indian village, and his mom lived in the village.
Yeah, there's something like that. I'm hazy about what happened, but I mean, he followed him all the way there, so I assume there's some sort of vendetta.
So it's like definitely a personal vendetta that Sam Elliott is following.
Yeah, Sam Elliott's not just like a mountain man. He just kind of lives around and does his thing. He's not like any kind of lawman or anything. He's almost like he's very similar actually to his character in Lifeguard. He's just kind of like just trying to like live a chill life, and he's not terribly ambitious.
Right.
But
here,
anyway,
though, he actively decides to like guardian angel these pilgrims as they travel across the prairie.
And he does it because he thinks that woman is mighty good looking.
Yeah, he has a crush on Kate Capshaw.
And she's gorgeous in this movie. Like every time that they show her, I'm just kind of like, wow, look at that woman. Like, have I seen her in anything before?
Sure, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark too.
Right. She's a lot better in this. I'll tell you that much.
That's what she's like. Well, she's very in Raiders, or what's it called, Temple of Doom.
Yeah, she's
very like screechy and
annoying
and annoying and complaining. Like that, they kind of. She's like the opposite of Karen Allen. Like she's like a fancy actress that gets kind of swept up in the adventure with Indiana Jones, and she's just like constantly like complaining. And I think they thought that was like going to be a source of a lot of comedy.
Yeah, but
she wound up being very unpleasant.
Yeah.
But yeah, here she's more womanly and she seems more relaxed. But yeah, I remember as a kid, I had a crush on her when I was a kid. She was really hot then.
Wow.
But I mean, she's only made like a couple of movies before she hooked up with Spielberg and never worked again.
Yeah. Yeah, but after he destroyed her womb with his giant penis.
And she couldn't walk anymore.
She couldn't walk.
When you get that Spielberg hog in you.
So yeah, Sam Elliott, like he shows up and you're right. He decides to guardian angel the family a little bit. He shows up and he just sits down. He's just like, "Well, morning. Mind if I warm myself by your fire?" And then he like, gets offered a cup of coffee. I really like these sort of bits where like the family kind of, okay, it's time to eat breakfast. Let's take out the table, put the tablecloth out on the table. Like, it's just seems real nice. I like this idea of like sort of, traveling across the country, but sort of bringing civility along with you like this.
Yeah.
Into the wild country. But Sam Elliott basically tips him off about the horses. He's like, "You're going to have to go face those men. They're calling you out. If you don't face those men, they're going to come for all your belongings, including your woman."
The dad, played by Tom Conti, he might be my least favorite part of the film.
Yeah, me too.
He's got like a Everybody Loves Raymond look.
Yeah, he does. That's funny.
He just like he seems out of place. Like he's a guy who looks like that never crossed the prairie.
Yeah,
I just don't buy it.
Well, he's a Scottish actor, and like,
right,
he doesn't look like a guy from that time for some reason. Like he doesn't like you see him wearing like a jacket. Like the part where jumping ahead, like the part where Sam Elliott gets shot and Conti shows up to like deal with his like take care of him, like help him out. He's wearing like this jacket that just looks like a modern jacket, and I'm just like, he just looks like just some guy.
He's wearing like a blazer, and he just kind of looks like maybe he should be sparing for change in a like a 20s movie or something. Like,
well, I mean,
he doesn't look of the time, and even like the way he acts doesn't feel. I think he stopped acting fairly early, and then
go on.
I think he stopped acting fairly early in his career, and became like a full on like just writing music for films.
No, because he played Albert Einstein in Oppenheimer recently.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, like I think maybe he's just like hasn't been acting as much as he used to, because he used to be around in a lot of films in like the early 80s, and then he kind of sort of vanished. But then I would see him turn up as doing music for movies. But I haven't that seemed to be like he kind of shifted gears and started doing that and not doing as much acting.
Do you remember? You know that actor Peter Mullen?
No.
He's like the Scottish guy in Session 9. If you ever saw Session 9, that's a movie we should probably
saw Session 9, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of other Scottish actors. Like Peter Mullen's one of my favorites. Like his performance in Session 9 is just way too good for that movie. Although I do like the movie, but it's like wow, if he wasn't in that movie, I don't know that I'd like it even half as much. And then you see him in like Ozark and stuff. Like you see him on TV as like in his older age. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. He's an and then he's in this other movie called Tyrannosaur, this sort of like depressing British movie about kind of like, like that kind of depressing sort of reality core British kind of movie where it's like a gritty kind of movie about kind of just poor drunk people doing stuff that would come out in like maybe like 2010 or something.
Okay.
Anyways, the point is that that's kind of a cool movie too. It's a little.
What's it called?
Tyrannosaur.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, whatever. Back to Quick and the Dead '87. Sure enough, our boy Conti goes back to claim his horses, and he sees them. They're tied up to the post outside of this little cabin, and these two guys are sitting on the porch, and he's like, "Oh, hey, thanks for catching my horses. I didn't see them run away. I'll just take them back now." And he's just like, "What do you mean, your horses?" And then he's like, "These are mine." And it's just like, "Oh yeah, well, I don't know. Your name's not on them." So then he's like, "Tell me, is there a preacher in this town?" And then they're like, "A preacher? Ha! What do you need a preacher for?" And he's like, "Well, I would hate for any of you to die without the services of clergy." And then it goes, "Bow," like that. And then meanwhile, behind him, one of the bad guys is like taking position on a building and aiming his gun at this guy, about to shoot him before he can like shoot his gun at the bad guys. And of course, who shows up to help this guy is of course Sam Elliott, who shoots the would-be gunman and then also shoots this other guy. So he kills two guys. Oh, and one of the guys is the main guy's son, the bowler hat guy's wearing son.
So the main bad guy, I think his name is Matt Clark, and he's sort of like, he's the only one in the group who is like a regular character actor who's been like in a shit ton of Westerns. Like he was in The Outlaw Josie Wales. Like he's just like one of those character actors that you see in everything. And you're like, oh, I don't know that guy's name, but he's always great. He actually just died in March.
Oh, R.I.P. Matt Clark. Yeah, he's got a real good-looking face. Real good-looking character actor face.
But just like great face, great delivery. He's terrific.
Yeah. So during this sort of the gunfire, Tom Conti jumps on one of the horses and then rides off with the other one. So he goes back. The wife has wisely packed up the wagon and they're ready to go, and they hightail it out of there, and they manage to sort of escape for the meantime, or for the immediate, for the time being is what I'm trying to say here. And then Sam Elliott shows up again, and again he's just kind of like, "Boy, I sure like the look of your woman." He just keeps saying that again and again. Oh, and by the way, they have a kid too. It's like it's husband and wife, and then this little kid who doesn't look like either of them. He looks like he's fucking, from Puerto Rico, or maybe even like Bahrain or something. Like he's just very, very.
Yeah, he looks like Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah. So like the movie goes on, and they have to deal with these guys chasing after them. And in the beginning, it's pretty easy because the wagon's leaving, like marks in the dirt, whatever. But that Indian's with them too. And
well, at first they think that they're carrying gold, so they're like, "Oh, we got to get that gold. That stagecoach is full of gold."
Well, I mean,
then at some point they because they keep getting picked off. At like the midway point, they suddenly are like, "Well, now we know that they ain't got gold, but we do know that we hate them and we want to get revenge, so we got to like kill them now."
And that bearded guy wants to rape her.
He wants to fuck Kate Capshaw, but I don't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. We're all kind of like, let the man rape that woman. Sam Elliott. Yeah, that was rude.
Give him a break. No, I mean, give the guy a break.
Oh, okay.
I think what you said is valid.
Okay. So, at this point, Sam Elliott really starts to move in hot and heavy, laying it on real thick on Kate Capshaw. And she's...
Should we say Kate Spielberg?
No, we absolutely do not want to say that.
Should we just say Mrs. Spielberg?
No, We shouldn't. I don't like to think about that.
Hmm.
But anyways, he ends up fucking her. Is that what I'm? Is that because it does that thing where they're kissing and then it fades to the morning, and it's like, where were you last night? It doesn't explicitly say it, but me and Phoebe were watching it, and I was like, does that mean he fucked her? And she was like, I think so. I think that's what that's saying.
Yeah,
And I think
I wasn't. I'm not sure.
I mean, you're not sure because no one cannot be sure.
Right.
But I think the movie is sort of like at least, implying that.
Well, he sort of watches her, like that scene where he's like watching her
bathe,
take a wet t-shirt bath under the waterfall, and they're sort of like locking eyes, and I don't know. Like I'm wondering, like, do they want? Because I feel like if they consummate the love, does that mean like then the romance is over, or do they want to sort of like keep that plate spinning for the duration of the film?
No, I think that I don't think that it operates that way. I think that if he fucks her, then it's kind of like, oh, he fucked her.
That deepens the romance.
What's going to happen now? Like because it's not about their romance. It's really about Tom Conti. It's about like how is he going to deal with this? Like because the whole movie is really about a guy who's seemingly not so tough, encountering a guy who's like seemingly a lot more tough than he is.
Well, that's something that's kind of, and again, I blame Tom Conti, but I mean it's also like part of the story where he's like seen action, like he was in the Civil War, and they even say like, oh, he helped slaves.
He helped
slaves through the Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
So they try to make him out to be a tough guy, but there's nothing about Tom Conti that seems tough. Like even when they have him like chopping the tree, like it looks like the axe is just like bouncing off the tree.
Yeah. It looks like he's gonna be there. He's gonna be there for like all week, like try to get through that tree.
Like it looks like the axe is made out of like plastic. He's not really making much headway, and so when he's acting tough, I'm not buying it. And
the only time that you really see him do that is right at the end, though, like when he decks Sam Elliott,
right?
Like that's kind of where you're.
And then like his whole sort of like inner conflict of like, I've decided I'm never going to pick up a gun again, and I'm never going to kill another man, and it's just like, dude, you never killed anybody. You're a fucking pussy. And so I'm not buying his story. And then like even the kid is like, my dad's tough. He did this and that, and Sam Elliott's like, sure you did, kid. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then even Sam Elliott literally has to, at the end, not to jump ahead, but he has to sort of like set the stage so dad looks good in front of the son, and he just kind of like, he only shows up at the very end to kind of like come in and pick up the pieces. But the whole thing was sort of, at least felt to me that like this is Sam Elliott creating a scenario so dad looks cool. And even like when Tom Conti punches him in the face at the end, and he's just kind of like, you got a tough right hook there, man. Like, and he just kind of laughs it off.
No, he okay, like
it just feels like everything was just to kind of like make the little boy feel good about daddy.
I don't think so. I think that the whole thing at the end, like where like the guys show up at the cabin and they're going to like burn it down and stuff. I mean, that just happened the way it did. Like Sam Elliott didn't have like Sam Elliott doesn't have like the ability or power to sort of orchestrate anything at that point. Like
what I'm saying what he orchestrates is the simple like they hear the gunshot, and then they cut to Sam Elliott and Tom Conti in the woods. Like I think they were hunting or something, and then they hear the gunshot, like, oh my God. And then Sam Elliott says to Tom Conti, you go check it out, and I'll be right, I'll be right there. So I think like that was it. that was a deliberate move from Sam Elliott to be like, Dad needs to take care of the family. I'm going to hang back, let Dad do it, so he can, like, the son can see, like, Dad save the day. And because that is a story point, like, you know, the son even says, like, can you please stop emasculating my dad?
Yeah, exactly.
My mom.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, so that becomes, like, a very important point, you know, in the story that, like, you know, is mom going to choose the rough and tough romantic hero with the amazing mustache, or is she going to go with fucking Tom Conti?
Well,
like, give me a break. Any woman would cream her jeans over Sam Elliott.
Oh God,
no woman wants Tom. Like, that's like every woman's nightmare to be stuck with a Tom Conti.
Right, exactly. Remember that scene where they first get that cabin and then they kiss each other and they're like messily kissing in the doorway of that cabin.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ew.
I didn't even think like they were going to do it. Like, I thought there was just going to be kind of like a pat on the back or something. Like when they actually wind up kissing, I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening. But
it's like in the first Hellraiser when the wife, it's an early scene in the first Hellraiser where, like, the wife goes to bed early and she goes and, like, warmly says goodbye to everyone. And then, like, at the end, she comes to her husband and she's like, okay, bye. Like, she just waves goodbye to him and doesn't give him a kiss. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, that's what I thought it was going to be, kind of like she's just like, I don't really feel like kissing you passionately anymore because I've just had my fucking nostrils full of that fucking lush mustache, you know? But here's the thing, like, that gang is a threat. They're armed guys, and Sam Elliott isn't, like, omnipotent. Like, he's not, if he thinks that the best way to deal with the situation is for him to go and to take the lead, take point on this shit, he's going to do that. I don't think that he's factoring in, like, oh, I have to make this guy look good. I really don't. I think
I do.
I think that he's sending Tom Conti out in exactly the same way that he sent him out in the beginning to go get those horses. He's sending him to be kind of like the focus of attention. And meanwhile, Sam Elliott's kind of like assessing the situation. And sure enough, like, when there's a guy who's going to get the drop on Tom Conti, Sam Elliott's right there to shoot him, you know, like to sort of pick up the pieces. That's what I think. I don't think that I do think that Sam Elliott does try to make the dad look better in front of the son, but I don't think he does it in that instance. I don't think that he's playing games.
Because, I mean, like, the dad's manhood, like, that's part that's always sort of, like, up for questioning. Like, and you know, his very, you know, new liberal philosophy. Like, even the fact that they're literally traveling through the most dangerous country, lawless country, and he's got, like, 2 rifles, like, and they're like, you know, like you said, they're like bringing, there's an element of naivete, just innocence of traveling through this country with all their furniture and, like, setting up, you know, we're going to, like, have a little meal at our table.
Picnic.
And, like completely unprepared and not really aware of the nightmare that they're entering. Yeah.
And that's actually, like, kind of why this movie is, you know, like, I really look at it as like a family movie, like a PG, like a light PG-13, you know,
except for the wet t-shirt moment. Yeah.
Right. But you know,
like, I always think of that movie that we watched, Bad Company. And I love that scene when they're traveling through the prairie and they run into the husband and wife, and the husband is like, you don't want to go that way. Like,
yeah,
that way is like a living hell.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of epitomizes that period of time very well.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not, they didn't show us that woman's tits though in Bad Company. Remember that?
Yeah, I know. That was like, you're waiting for that moment, and, like, they cut right as that last button is removed.
Right. But
there's got to be an uncut Bad Company out there with those tits.
with those tits in it. But so that's like, I mean, is there anything, like, I mean, there's that part where Sam Elliott, like, kills Indian John Cena.
That might be my favorite part in the whole movie, because I like that surreal aspect of like all their
setting up
accoutrement of civilization are all laid out in the field. They got their fancy beds and dressers, and so just like it's set up like a nice little living room, like in the middle of the wilderness, and the Indians like approaching it all confused and like, what's going on? And then Sam Elliott pops up from under the bed and shoots him in the face.
Yeah. He's like, you should have finished me, Indian.
Which was, I guess he could say that because he is an Indian. But
it's totally fine. I mean, like that's pretty much it. Like the what do you call it? The sort of the emotional driver of the film is sort of like this sort of like cock-knocking battle between Sam Elliott and Tom Conti, and then the woman in the middle, and then also the son, like the fight over who's more of a man, who's gonna take control of this family, including the son, right, too. Like who's a, like, you ever been hunting? Well, I never. Before the first time, I never went hunting either. And he's like, I like you more than my dad. And then he's like, and then he's telling him, he's like, yeah, the Indians out in the wilderness, they'll shoot a cow, a man, horse. They don't care what they shoot. But us, when we hunt, we only take what we need, like a wolf does, or a bear. I'm just like, this kid is just eating this up so much, like just this. My dad never talks to me this way. Holy shit,
Right. My dad's a fag.
Yeah, my dad's a little bit of a fag, but then like, is. Yeah, but then sort of through this sort of the tribulation of like the events of the film, Sam Elliott, helps sort of this guy kind of, solidify his family unit, and then go off into the sunset. And he says, you're welcome for Sunday dinner any day, as long as you come with it draped over your horse. And, and then Sam Elliott's just like, well, fine, as long as I can take a look at that fine looking woman of yours, and then they all laugh about it. And then he rides off into the sunset. But,
like another moment that I feel like exemplifies Tom Conti's uselessness is when it was right before Kate Capshaw beats the
bearded guy, rapist,
rapist in the face with a log. But she's like, it's like in the middle of the night, and she's I don't know if she's like on watch detail or she's just like awake, and she's sitting there, and like Tom Conti is like sleeping like a baby, and it's sort of like he knows there's like first of all they're in the middle of the wild prairie filled with all kinds of dangers, and he's like sleeping like a baby. His wife is sitting there. At that point they hadn't even taught her to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, like, she's just sitting there with a stick, and he's just kind of like completely he's just like all sleeping there on this pillow and fast asleep. And meanwhile, there's like an army of like rapists, like hot on their tail. He could give a fucking shit.
Well, actually, I have another reason why that whole bit is so funny. So he's sleeping, and then she's got a stick, but his whole thing, because later on, like he wakes, like that. The funny part is like when he wakes her up, and when he's awake, and they're talking about, you need to teach me how to shoot the gun. Right. Is this coming from you, or is this coming from Con Valian? I think is his name. Is Sam Elliott's name?
Like
is this coming from you, or is this coming from Mr. Valiant? And she's silent, and then and she's like, look, I just want you to shoot the gun so I don't have to wake you up. Like, and she's like, well, what do you mean you don't want to wake me up? Why don't you want to fucking wake me up? I might not be able to. She's like, why not? You're like, you're sitting right next to me. Like, it's just so funny. Like it's the whole thing is sort of this thinly veiled request to like, please give me like the autonomy to sort of sneak away in the night so that I can go fucking suck this guy's old dirty dick. You know, like that's kind of what it feels like. Like, and the way that actually I like Tom Conti's acting in this too, because he's like, why can't you, like, why wouldn't you be able to wake me up? You wake me up, I'll get up. Like, she's like, no, like I might not be able to. Like she's not making any sense there either. And it's very clearly because she's just gotten, she's gotten a fucking taste of Sam Elliott's fucking load, you know? Like that's kind of like what's going on here.
Well, maybe she just got a taste of that stash.
Yeah, exactly. The pube stash. The pubic mustache. His pubes.
It has to be like maybe the most impressive mustache I think I've seen in a film.
It's pretty wild. Anyways, yeah, like that's about as much as I want to talk about The Quick and the Dead, 1987.
I liked it. I think I'd give it a 3. I mean, you know, it's definitely like has a made for TV vibe to it, but it's well done and lots of cool people in it. I just like how clear the writing is.
The only thing that I would complain about is that I would have liked to know a little more about like what happened between the Indian and Sam Elliott. Like right. I wish that was just just a touch more, like even just like a little scene where we kind of get to know kind of what happened there. But other than that, I thought it's like the way that sort of, you know, the way that they're like this good guy and this bad guy kind of come into the picture, and they both kind of change the trajectory of sort of these otherwise less interesting good and bad components of the film. Mm. So like the Indian kind of like adds like a powerful tracking element to this like old sort of drunk, lazy, stupid gang. And then Sam Elliott is sort of like this, a gunfighter really, who just kind of, you know, increases they both kind of increase the stakes of the situation. And the performances are good. And I like the melodrama of the whole thing too. So yeah, it's pretty good. I also give it a 3. It's not quite good enough to go any further than a 3.
No, it's very, very bare bones Western fun.
Western fun. If you like Western fun, go check out The Quick and the Dead 1987 on YouTube, because it's on YouTube.
Yes.
And also, I guess Shout Factory re-released it, so it's like a good quality version. Like it's good. It's not like a taped off of VHS sort of thing that you might expect. Onward. Sam Elliott now is, I guess we're going back in time to what, 1970, what, for Lifeguard?
Say like 77, 78?
Yeah, I'm probably right. Let's take a little peekaboo. 76.
Okay.
So 11 years in the past from The Quick and the Dead, we got fucking a younger Sam Elliott who's kind of in the same way that Al Pacino kind of decided that he's going to just talk a certain way all the time in all of his movies. Mm-hmm. Sam Elliott kind of hasn't really done that yet.
Hasn't found his voice.
He hasn't found his stoic, his, you know, just rolling around, you know, just standing out here in the tall grass, that kind of voice.
His Big Lebowski cowboy voice.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he's still, I mean, he's a piece of ass in this movie. Talk about charismatic. The movie starts and, motherfucking Tom Conti. We're not talking about Tom Conti anymore. We're talking about
once again, Tom Conti
ruins the day.
He plays his boss at the Lifeguard studio.
Yeah. God damn it, Sam Elliott! You have to stop having sex with all the 17-year-olds. But I don't wanna stop. I like doing it. No, it's Sam Elliott, and he's a fucking lifeguard. He's like probably 33 or so, early 30s.
Right.
You know, he's getting a little bit of salt and pepper in that fucking mustache of his.
Well, he's supposed to be like getting a little too old to be being a lifeguard.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still hot as hell.
Is he ever? And he knows a lot of good jokes too.
because he's sort of like in that, the whole movie's about being in this transitional period of being like, okay, you know, you've had your fun being a lifeguard, but now it's time to grow up, and, you know, what are you going to do with your life? He's sort of confronting these deep existential problems.
Yeah, there's like the way that they structure the film. There's this other lifeguard named Chris who's like a high schooler who's coming to just sort of be a lifeguard. He's like 18 or so, 17, 18, and he's like the subordinate to Sam Elliott's Rick Carlson. And he's sort of like, you know, the audience, like Sam Elliott kind of introduces him, like shows him the ropes, and by doing so he shows the ropes to the audience, you know, like you gotta make sure to watch the waves and the little kid, make sure to pay attention to little kids, and, you know, watch out, there's a lot of weirdos in the parking lot. And they're doing this whole like sort of thing where they're just showing just like clips of this Southern California beach, and all these like beautiful people doing beach stuff, having a good time. There's one shot of this girl playing volleyball, and like she's got the biggest tits like ever in the history of cinema. And you're like, holy shit. And then, but you only kind of see her from the side. Like you just see her like bump a ball, and you're like, and you see her tits bounce, and you're just like, fuck, dude. And then it goes off to something else. And then, you know, so like, I mean, you're like right off the bat, like you're just kind of like, I understand totally why this guy wants to remain a lifeguard. He just gets to sort of hang out here all day and just kind of like, you know, occasionally like get a little bit of pussy from any of these women who are on the beach that kind of might look his way.
His wants in life are minimal, you know, like he doesn't have, like everybody wants him to have a greater ambition, like his parents. And then of course, like when he meets, some old flame,
Kathleen Quinlan.
Right. And, I mean, it's been a minute, but doesn't she try to like get him an interview at like a used car lot or something like that?
No. It's actually, he runs into one of his old pals on the beach, and he's just
right.
Like,
yes. All right. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to make next year, I'm going to make my first $1 million. All right, man. Right. I mean, like you could probably make upwards of $20,000 a year if you.
Right. It's like trying to seduce him into like joining him at the car lot.
Yeah. Sam Elliott's kind of just like, you're kidding me. Well, I'll give it some thought. And then, he doesn't jump on it immediately. It's that old flame that kind of pushes him into it, or not, doesn't push him into it. She just kind of, he mentions it, and she's like, oh yeah, you should definitely do that. You know, like, I mean, why wouldn't you want to make more money?
Right. I mean, she's like a older woman, and things are getting serious. And I think, you know, they're like, then the question comes up like, okay, what, you can't really seriously want to be a lifeguard your entire life. Like, what else are you going to do? Like, you gotta make money. You gotta have, you know, if we're going to get together, we get married, you know, you're going to be a lifeguard. That's crazy.
Yeah. And like how long can one be a lifeguard for? You know, like, I mean,
exactly.
Like there's that part where they have that sort of that relay race, that sort of lifeguard challenge thing, and like, and he gets winded, and he gets winded in front of Wendy, who's played, of course, by oh no, my bad, that's Kathleen Quinlan. Kathleen Quinlan is Wendy. And
she's the young kid.
Yeah.
Who plays the older?
It's Anne Archer. It's
right. Okay.
Who's Michael Douglas's wife in Fatal Attraction.
Right.
She looks great in Fatal Attraction, and that's like a good fucking decade later. And I remember being like,
she's hot. Yeah,
she's hot, and she like remains hot into sort of her like later years, you know. But because like
Scientologist.
You can see sort of the crow's feet, like kind of like the evidence of sort of age falling upon her in the Lifeguard, but then you see her in Fatal Attraction, and you're like, who the fuck is Michael Douglas's hot wife, and why is he cheating on her with Glenn Close?
Glenn Close. Yeah. Yeah, that's why that was the problem in that movie.
Yeah.
He should have been married to Glenn Close and cheating on her with Anne Archer.
Yeah, exactly. But Sam Elliott, the a big part of the whole thing. Well, I mean, remember that part, like, so, like, he's saying goodbye, well, it's a pretty good first day, cadet, to Chris, the subordinate lifeguard. And he's like, hey, want to go get a beer? He's like, oh, I'd love to, except that I got a little Stewie coming over later. And he's like, oh shit, is it true what they say about stewardesses? And he's like, stewardesses, waitresses, school teachers. What do they say about school teachers? The guy says. And he's like, well, they make you do it over and over until you get it right. And then and he's like, wow. And then Sam Elliott goes off and gets into his Stingray. He drives a fucking Corvette Stingray, and
Right.
and he drives home. This woman comes to his door. His apartment is hilarious. He's wearing like a sleeveless tie-dye t-shirt. His apartment is like, exactly what you would expect. Like very well, like decorated, very, very well, conceived by the production designer. Like, it's like surf posters and like a lot of like hippy dippy shit everywhere, and like a hanging wicker chair. It reminds me a lot of a friend of mine, like how he likes to sort of decorate, like a lot of wood, a lot of sort of chocolatey brown kind of situation going on. And
Right. Well, that those were like the primary colors of the 70s.
Yeah,
lots of
yeah.
brown, lots of beige,
right, yeah,
lots of yellow,
sure,
piss and shit.
right. Well, no, but it works here. I think it's nice. I think what he's done
No,
with
I
the
like
place.
piss and shit.
You like piss and shit. The lady comes over, and she's a stewardess, sure enough, and she's also fucking super hot, and they have a little, playful fucking roll in the hay, so to speak, and she's like, she tries to make him jealous, like, oh, I met a guy on the fucking plane that wanted to take me to fucking Beirut. Yeah, she says something like that. Some kind of like, I think she might have said some sort of like, Middle Eastern country. And then he's like, well, you should go, I mean, you only live once. And then she's like, well, I want to go. I just want to be with someone who loves me. And he's like, well, you can't have everything. Like, he's basically just saying like I'm here for a good time, not a long time, baby. And,
Right.
And that's his sort of, that's his whole thing. And then we enter Kathleen Quinlan, who's this girl who cuts her finger on a root beer can, and then she needs a Band-Aid, and he puts a band. She's like, yeah, I cut it on a root beer can, and then he's like, well, looks like I'm going to have to amputate. And she's like, she's just at that point, she's just like come in my ass. Like, she's just
Right.
completely just totally just seduced by this older man. Puts the Band-Aid on, kind of smiles at her. She goes off. She's fixated on him like how a baby bird fixates on a fucking
I just want to say, like this movie, it's sort of like this very I also would say like this is kind of a hangout movie, and I think also like this is just sort of a slice of life kind of drama that I think like the storytelling here and like some of the melodrama that's created. If this is what Saint Jack wished it could be.
No, I absolutely.
I think so.
I think that it's what you wish Saint Jack was. No, I don't.
That's what because I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Saint Jack and the Lifeguard, but I feel like Lifeguard is doing it far more successfully.
I just don't think that Saint Jack's trying to be that, though. I think that Saint Jack is doing exactly what it's trying to do. It's not in other words, it's not a mistake. Would I recommend Lifeguard to more people than Saint Jack? Yes. Do I think it's a better movie? Probably. But it's kind of like, it's just a completely different assignment or directive,
I just think that there's similarities, and I think that it's a guy at some crossroad point, and he's got this job, and he's kind of not really sure, like, is this something I really want to do, or do I want to, like, is this something that's going to last, or should I just get the fuck out of here? they're both sort of hitting that middle age of
No.
that point where like they're kind of like, is this something I want to do for the rest of my life?
Oh, come on. Saint Jack, he's almost 50 in that movie. He's over that all that shit. He's over all that shit.
They're while they might be different ages in that respect, in relation to the careers that they have, I feel like they're both dealing with these existential questions about like, what am I doing? Is this something that I should continue to do? Should I try to do something else? Like, should I get out of here? Like, what is the purpose of this?
I was thinking
and it both kind of ends in the same way where like St. Jack suddenly is just like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to be here. This is where I'm supposed to be. And this is great. And Lifeguard ends in the same way where he's just kind of like, you know what? I love it and I'm going to do it for as long as I love it.
So I was thinking about Frank Perry's The Swimmer.
Uh-huh.
And at first I was like, am I that stupid that I'm just going to think of like The Swimmer because they're both wearing bathing suits?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, no, they are kind of similar thematically because Burt Lancaster in The Swimmer is what it's about is about a guy who like thinks he's pretty cool, but then kind of like through the film kind of maybe starts thinking maybe he's not so cool. And
right, like life kind of chips away at that cool veneer.
And also like there is sort of the flirtation with like the younger girl and who, obviously Burt Lancaster doesn't get quite as far as old Sam Elliot. But it's sort of like, that's sort of more of a, I used to really, have my shit together and fuck a lot of women and I used to know what I was doing. And all of a sudden I don't know that I know what I'm doing anymore. Like I feel like, all of a sudden I'm feeling like I'm getting cornered a little bit. And that's kind of like,
did we talk about Last Summer too? Did we ever
on the show
talk about that Frank Perry movie?
Yeah, of course we did.
Okay.
Remember we talked about how Barbara Hershey is like pretty cute in Last Summer, but then she's like pretty hot in the Entity. And it's like, how did that happen?
Plastic surgery.
but I mean, plastic surgery wasn't even that good back then. And she's like,
I guess she knew some people.
I guess, yeah, she must have gone to Turkey, but anyways, okay. So with the Lifeguard, I mean, what else is there? Like there's the only thing in the film that like kind of like bumped me, was the, there's actually two things. Okay. The first thing is a simple thing. The part where he goes to the high school reunion and they're doing that thing where they're showing like the picture on the lapel on the sticker and then the person's face. I was just kind of like that sort of stylistic choice to do that. I thought was, I don't understand like why that was being done, like how that factors into anything. Maybe it's just kind of like, yep, first this is how they looked in high school, and this is what they look like today. It just seemed like an old, like a old way of filmmaking, an older idea, like from an older era, and it shows the age of the director in a way that like was unfavorable to me. It's not a big deal. It's just something that I was like, ugh, that's ugly. I don't like that. I don't like what he's doing there. And then
I don't really remember that moment.
It's just an editing thing, and whatever. I kind of even regret bringing it up. But anyways, the other thing is that he kind of meets Kathleen Quinlan, the younger girl, pretty early in the film, and he just kind of pretty quickly decides that he's going to bang her. The only thing that I think that I would change about the film, if I had the ability to change anything, would be like I would have him start feeling doubts about himself first, and then have him kind of make the decision to fuck a 17-year-old, like because of his doubts, like because his doubts are introduced way later in the film. He just kind of like fucks this girl just because he wants to,
Right. Of course. Well, that's the whole purpose of being a lifeguard, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he does, like she is 17. Like it is kind of like, that's another thing too. That's just delightful about the film is how relaxed it is about sexual assault, like light sexual assault to some degree. Like,
well, I mean, do you think you're basically projecting today's perspective on, an older era?
no, like I'm not, because it's
No!
no,
How dare you?
well, yeah, indeed, how dare you think I'm so dumb?
How dare you ask that?
That I'm not gonna like, that I'm just like some idiot who's gonna fucking do that kind of thing, like, oh, you can't do that in a film, like talking about a film from 1976. The fact of the matter is that, like, first of all, I said it was delightful. Second of all, like, it's illegal. Like, I mean, it's illegal to it's 18 was the age of consent back in those days, and to fuck a 17-year-old was something that could get you in a lot of trouble, And I mean, and then
Sure.
and then also, like, just sort of like, I remember the end of the movie. It's kind of like, excuse me, lifeguard, there's a man in the ladies' change room, right? And the guy's like, oh, I'm a cop, and he's like, where's your badge? And he's just like, oh, they don't make us take a badge on undercover operations. And he's like, step out and we'll talk about it. And the guy's just like, huh. And then Samuel is like kind of shaking his head and smirking. And it's like, this is a man who's about to rape a woman, and they're treating it kind of like, boy, oh
right,
boy.
But I definitely, I feel like, just thinking back on that time compared to today, oh yeah, okay, it was against the law. There still were statutory rape laws and all that shit was real, but the overall societal perspective on that was completely different.
Clearly.
So like when you watch all those like 80s sex comedies, teen sex comedies, and there's kids just like, Porky's or whatever, like there's kids it's just all about fucking, and they don't, like, you're fucking an old guy, you're fucking a young guy, you're fucking a kid. It was just like mayhem, and it was all just considered like crazy and funny and fun. There was something like harmless about it at the time. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I didn't see, like, I don't watch these types of movies and suddenly, like, I get all kind of like, don't they know the law that, like, they like when a peeping Tom, there's nothing funny about a peeping Tom in the ladies' room. They need to act accordingly and obey the law and take it very seriously.
I'm speaking to our audience right now. Listen to Johnny Ryan, like, try to argue with me about something that I'm not even arguing with him about. I'm saying it's like, yeah, that it's interesting, and like I said, kind of delightful just to kind of see this kind of stuff, which is, criminal to do then and
but
now.
I feel like even this movie, it's pretty mild compared to like many, like, many other movies.
Right. But like
Animal House.
Yeah. So like there are these like young boys, they're like, 16 or so. And they're like, this is the FUP, like the Feel Up Posse. And they go into the water and they fucking touch women under the water, and it's like, and they're like, you guys are fucking crazy. Don't get into trouble. Some old man's going to fucking beat you up. And it's just like, man,
those are the days.
That's funny. I mean, I'm not wagging my fist. I'm not saying, they shouldn't treat this as they need to make a point to say that this is wrong, or at least Sam Elliott needs to make a point to say that it's wrong. I mean, by the way, he does. He's just kind of like, he's like, okay, listen, rapist, you need to get out of here. Hey, listen, yeah. old man who's running around showing his penis to everybody on the beach. You need to get out of here too. Actually, no, he goes, tell him he needs to put his penis away, like he needs to put his penis away, or else he needs to get out of here. It's not like he needs to get out of here. It's just like, as long as he stops pulling out his penis, and he just like, he can still stay, like it's just a lot more like relaxed. And that to me was very, very funny. Like, just kind of like, because like back in those times, like, it really wasn't that much of a problem because, because it just, I mean, in the same dude, in the same way that the guy who fucking offers him the job at the Porsche dealership can be in the water, walk back to his blanket, and there's not even anyone else there, and he just has his fucking wallet lying out on his blanket, and he goes, opens his wallet to give him his fucking business card. In the same way that the world was just a little bit more innocent back then.
There used to be a time, a lot of kids probably don't know this, but there was a time where you could go into the supermarket, like where the, lotion and stuff is, and it wasn't all locked behind plastic. Mm-hmm. And you didn't have to like call someone over to come and unlock the plastic doors so you can get,
your jerk off lotion.
Get the lotion or the shampoo.
Right. like Machine Gun, the character Machine Gun in Lifeguard. Do you remember that? There's a kid, and he's like, hey, Machine Gun. Like, it's like, hey, Lifeguard Rick, how you doing? And it's just like, hey, Machine Gun, how you doing? It's just like, oh, pretty good. We're going to go over fucking, to put our fingers in that girl's vagina for a little while. And then he's like, oh, well, you best be careful, or else her old man might fucking kick your ass. And he's like,
break your finger off.
Yeah. Then it's like, and then the other lifeguard is like, why do they call him Machine Gun? It's just like, he broke the record. He broke the local record for masturbating or something. Off. Yeah, exactly. And then,
there's a local record.
Yeah, exactly. There's also sort of like, I mean, it's very clearly just like it's light, it's a little risque, and fuck. I mean, I wouldn't change any of that. All that stuff is par for the course. Is par for the course as far as like the time. But
no, I think this is I think it's a great movie. I would give it 4 eggplants.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think it's on the same level as something like The Swimmer. Mm-hmm. I think that probably I'll give it maybe. Yeah, I give it a 4 too. Actually, I don't want to act like I'm copying you here, but like it is a like a very, very watchable movie. Like,
and I feel like it is films of that time kind of had. Like this movie has like a certain amount of depth to it as far as like, this guy and what is he going to do, and his relationship to women, and his relationship with his family, and so there's like a serious movie here, but then there's also like a lot of lighthearted fun, like a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, and there was a period where these types of films were being made where it was combining sort of like silly gags and comedy, but then also like the serious story. I kind of I miss that type of filmmaking.
This one's the right balance for me because like it I like how it leans more into the serious side of things, mm-hmm. and then there's just sort of like a little bit of like titillating ribaldry to kind of keep the audience kind of like happy.
Because this was sort of like 76, so it's before the wave of like Porky's and crazy teen beach comedies, sex comedies. So it's still got some meat on it. It's not just kind of, hey, let's look at a pair of tits.
Yeah, there are some hot fucking babes in this movie too, that you just kind of like will see kind of along the way. Some of which, like for example, the young girl Kathleen Quinlan. She's not really one of them, but she's like, but she's well cast. She's exactly the kind of like just the right level of sort of awkwardness, but also kind of cute. And then Ann Archer. Ann Archer's pretty too, but she's not like a hot babe. I'm talking more about like the lady who's doing the photo shoot at the beach, and they pop off her top.
Right.
Like her, the stewardess I really like, and also that glimpse of that girl playing volleyball. where I'm just like, holy shit, is she going to come back later? Are we going to? And then there's like a scene later where they're playing volleyball like 45 minutes later in the movie, and I'm like, is that woman still there? And she's not there.
Yeah, Anne Archer's like the perfect kind of serious. Like she's not some floozy that's gonna be running around on the beach.
She's the right look for like someone that you would want to settle down with, and then you go to her place and she's got like it's all fucking glass and she's got a pool in the back, and you're kind of like, huh, right. Probably
she's got a real job. She's taking life seriously.
The only thing that you'd have to fucking resolve is just the kid is being a stepdad.
Right.
That's the only sort of thing you have to kind of.
Got to teach him to beat Machine Gun's record.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Then we get into like back to happiness. We get this like, you know, would you like me to show you how? Yeah. Anyway, on that note, let's call it. So our very short kind of thing, St. Jack, I gave it a 4, you gave it a 2.5.
That sounds right.
Quick and the Dead, you gave it what? Same thing, 2.5 or 3? 3, I think you gave 3.
I liked it more than St. Jack.
Right, so 3.
So 3 and then Lifeguard 4.
Right, okay. And then whatever, I can't remember what mine were, but you can just go back in the episode and figure it out. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.